Introducing the new Key West kayak fishing offshore kayak. Just want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. They basically bought this for me. This is a 2012 Hobie Adventure. It's basically the same exact year and model of my existing blue kayak, but I wanted a second one just for offshore work. And this is the guy. Got a great deal on it, $1,100. It's really good condition. It's basically a garage queen. Came with, well, this is my Mirage Drive, but the Mirage Drive that came with it is like in brand new condition. And if I sell that, that's pretty much half the cost of the kayak right there. They go for about $450 to $500, but I'll get it on the high side because it's almost brand new. Just a few differences than my kayak in that it has the very massive sailing rudder on it, which will help keeping me going straight there. It does not have the accessories for the Adventure Island, which would be the crossbars and so forth for the outriggers, but I'm just going to add those. It had them before. It's basically a decommissioned Adventure Island, the sailing setup that they just stripped all the components off of except for the rudder. So I'm just going to get the cross members and then my motor mount, and then it'll be good to go. I'm not going to put very much stuff on this one. I'm debating on the anchor trolley. I'll definitely put my rod holders the way I had them, and then I'm not sure about the fish finder, if I'll leave it in the same spot I had my other one, and just pull that stuff off of my other kayak because I really don't use those. And yeah, that's the baby. So today we're out doing some test driving of this guy before I start rigging it up. And I also have a new lure that I'm going to be testing today, and it's a new prototype, so we're going to just see how it swims. But yeah, that's my new baby. Thank you, Patreon. The deal with the Adventure and the Adventure Island is that they are pretty much one of the fastest models that Hobie has. They're pretty narrow but very long. This is a 16-foot kayak. I think it's like 28 and a half, something like that wide. So very narrow when it comes to natural fishing kayaks. It does actually have pretty good stability because it's so long, so it can kind of covers a lot of surface area, but definitely fast on the speed side of it. Paddling wise, you can definitely crank it out there, but then you throw in the Mirage Drive and then you can definitely kick some speed going. I also got this carbon fiber paddle. It's a little bit short, and then I don't like the 90-degree feather, which is the angle of the paddle is flat here, and then at a almost a 90-degree angle here. So your stroke is short or very at much of an angle down, and then you have to do a pretty decent twist with the left hand in order to get that paddle face correct. So it's good for digging deeper. I think for a smaller kayak, shorter person, it would work out good. But it's getting easier. I'm getting kind of used to it, the flow of it, and I think it would work well with the outriggers, since you have to stay within the boundaries of the outriggers. So having a shorter paddle might be beneficial. But we'll play with it a little bit and see how more efficient this actually is. It's about a third of the weight of my standard paddle, so I could definitely feel it there. All right, we're back from our test run. Happy with the new ride. One thing I would highly recommend anytime you get a new to you kayak or even a boat, take it out for a few test drives and kind of get to learn about it before you start doing any modifications. What you'll find is just because you see somebody else's rigged up a certain way, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the best way to rig yours. I mean, the types of conditions you fish in, the type of water you fish in, the type of fish you chase, the different type of rigs that you use. Okay, it all depends on those to how you want to set up your own ride. So kind of think it through as you go. The things that I learned about that kayak right off the bat was, one, that rudder. Because it's so much bigger and sits so much deeper in the water, it's extremely reactive. It basically cut my turning radius in about half. It grabs so much water. Also, it's highly reactive. Just a little micro adjustments really turns that back, that kayak. So we'll have to see how it works with the outboard. These adventures or adventure islands are made for 10 to 15 knots as a sailing, so it's not that big of a deal, but I'll have to see how it works out. The seat has to go right off the bat. It's kind of a low back seat that sits all the way to the bottom of the well. The scupper holes on these kayaks are at the bottom of the seat well, so it becomes a wet ride anytime you're into speed or rocky conditions. So I'll probably put some foam pads glued down to the bottom of them like I did the blue one, and then get a high back seat. I've already ordered it, but I get a high back seat because of long hours on the water, you want to have a good, comfortable seat. The third was that paddle. Super light, which is super nice, but it's a 90-degree feather on the actual paddle heads, and not so great for just the general paddling that I'm going to be using it for. Those are made for deep, heavy strokes on a thin kayak, so you're at high angles like that. And it's not so necessary for what I'm using it for, which will be my motor breaks down, my foot pedals break, and I have to pedal back 10 miles to shore. Okay, so I want that definitely light paddle, but I want something with a natural, easy stroke on it. So I might cut that paddle in half, put a pin in it so I can be able to rotate it, and then we'll see how it goes. Or I might just sell it off and then pick up a new paddle. I use my Hobie paddle because that's a good one as well. Yeah, so after that, I could just start doing the other mods. And we'll go over the changes that I do on that kayak, which will be less than what I have on my current kayak, which I use for flats, backcountry, channels, bridges, reef, offshore, wrecks, everything, to one that's more specifically reef, wrecks, offshore, that type, blue water stuff. So we'll check that out. Before I wrap things up, I want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. They're the ones that basically paid for this new change-up, or pretty much all of the QS kayak fishing gear. They handle the bill for that, so I'm super appreciative for that. One of the things I do to kind of give back is I have the product testers group. So for the month of December, you'll saw I just released the new All About the Bait Esky shrimp there. So we got those. I'm going to be sending out a sample pack of all the new colors. Back in November of 2019, I gave a sample pack of just the original because that's what we had at Esky's. But now that I've got the new colors, I'll send those out. It might be a little bit of a delay because I'm sold out of my jig heads, because I'm going to throw some samples in there so you have everything. So I'm out basically of the 1/8 fish head. I've got low on the 1/4 ounce fish head, and I'm low on the 1/4 ounce Cobra jig heads. I was originally going to have a brand new jig head for these shrimp, but that got held up, so it kind of threw me off. So I've got those coming. As soon as I get those jig heads, I'll throw those out. If it takes longer than my December and January, I'll just do it once. But again, thank you guys for your support. It really means a lot to me. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the new offshore rig. Bye.